One thing is constant throughout any region, any place in the entire world. You will be at the airport doing live shots during the holiday season.
Hello and welcome to Behind the Lens, an inside look at what it's like to gather TV news. On this episode, we're going to examine a hallmark of local television, something as old and revered as the test pattern itself. We're talking about working the holidays. Lights, camera, woo! Santa? You never know what you'll see through your TV lens this time of year. Or do you? There's the spontaneous brass bands, all those close-ups of crinkly paper.
Oh, there you go.
And of course, there's the big guy. It's almost enough to make you wish you'd stayed home for the holidays. Well, you never know what you'll find out there during the holidays. And two folks who really know what that's like are joining me right now. Kevin Pinto, photojournalist, Terrence Allen, photojournalist here at Queen City News Plus. I can think of no subject you guys are more expert at than working at an inconvenient time and an inconvenient place while all your loved ones are at home eating turkey. Does that ring a bell?
That does ring a bell. I tell you what, man, I've been in this business for a lot of years, and I've worked a lot of holidays, man. The only time I've actually had the holidays off was maybe a 15-year period when I worked in sports. And then that was an interesting situation, too, because I covered a lot of, on Sundays, and I covered a lot of bowl games. So I was out of town, for like weeks at a time during the holidays. So it's been interesting. I've had an interesting career for sure on the holidays.
That's so true. Yeah. Plenty of things to cover on holidays, especially when you first start out. You're working every holiday.
Yeah.
I personally didn't care to even take off because I was so far away, and I was in Texas, and my family's in North Carolina, and so I didn't want to take the days off because I was like, it's too expensive to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So screw it. Anyone who lives closer, I was like, enjoy it with your family. Like, you guys take off, I'll take the holiday stuff. And usually, day of holiday stuff, it's not bad, right? It's usually kind of chill.
Yeah, pretty
hopefully.
chill day.
Depends on the holiday, right? Memorial weekend, forget that. I'm done with that. We talked about that, and that is the worst to cover. But we're talking about the happy holidays.
Are you available this?
Oh no, something my sciatica. And so I can't do it. I gotta. My swim has. What do I always say? My goldfish has swim practice that day.
Ooh,
I can't miss that one.
Write that one down.
It's a good excuse. Do or false for it every time.
There you go.
It all comes together now.
I'll tell you, the thing that I enjoy about the holidays, working on the holidays is when, like you say, you got that skeleton crew. You kind of come in and there's like a few diehards in the newsroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And, we're all a family. And everybody kind of, bands together. Usually people bring stuff in. Sometimes the station will provide food for you.
Right.
And so that's a pretty cool thing. And also covering the nice events with children. I love covering the children events and seeing all the lights and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's a fun time, I will admit. And to be honest with you, I'm just blessed to have gainful employment.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't argue with any of that. And the subject matter at hand, as some of this video shows, is smiling kids and flashy lights and a lot of ribbon being cut. It seems that there are far worse things we point our cameras at. We'll talk about that later in this episode. But if you can't go to an event with a camera where the kids are smiling and getting souvenirs and autographs, then what can you do? I mean, it can be a hassle. Whoever got that video probably had to park a mile away to even get there. But that's not something you think about or talk about as you watch it on air. But I've been fortunate enough, like a lot of the stations will have big station events, whether they're raising money or collecting toys or coats or something like that. And that's a fun event to see because sometimes people don't dig deep in their pockets at all, except that one time of year.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to see a lot of good stuff. It's just not at our convenience. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's very fair. And I think that the big thing that we do here at Queen City News is the CMPD Explorers, Christmas toy drive.
Sure.
And I tell you, it's nothing better than going out and help delivering these toys and bicycles and whatnot to all these kids, man. You walk in there. I'll never forget one year we went to a house and the kids were it was like 4, maybe 5 kids, and they were all pressed up against the window there, like,
Right.
like so happy and so fired up to get these bicycles, man.
Sure.
And I tell you what, man, that made it all worth it. Coming in and working on the holidays. I love that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm all about.
You talk about the bicycles and stuff, and I know you've worked in sports a lot too, right? So, like, I remember in Colorado when I worked there, that was the big thing. Because we had such a great relationship with the Broncos. We would do the toy drives and stuff, and it was so much fun. These guys were really into it. I got to do it. One of the linemen, he was Santa. We covered, I think, 4 or 5 different just events, and I loved every single one of them. And then the kicker, he brought everyone to it was like Target or something, and they each had like $400 or something to spend, and they just did a shopping spree, and just chasing the kids around, and they just whatever they wanted to buy. They had a card, and they said, "Go ahead, go fill it up," essentially, and that was so cool. Just like these underprivileged kids or whatever, or parents who can't afford their gifts, all these gifts, for these players to give back. I loved it. It definitely. I have my small heart like the Grinch, as you guys probably think, but it definitely grew 3 times. Whatever, Stuart.
But there's an ugly side of that, because those crowds buying toys for the underprivileged kids, fantastic. I'll be there every time.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we all 3 have done a lot of, but the internet has made it less of a thing. 3 words: tickle me Elmo. All right. Not since covering a prison riot have I risked my life in the name of news.
Tickle me Elmo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to a closed up shopping mall, and they're opening the doors, and 6,000 people are trying to get the whatever.
Yeah.
In my time, it was the Tickle Me Elmo, and other times it was the Pet Rock. I don't know, but to see that sort of extraordinary madness of crowds. You can choose your story very quick because everything's happening very quick. It doesn't take long. But the downside is they might run you over. Have you ever been run over by a crowd? That's a dumb question.
Yes, man. That's funny you mentioned that. My thing, yours was Tickle Me Elmo. Mine was the Cabbage
So
Patch.
funny.
Remember the Cabbage Patch dolls back then?
Yeah. I think I got some of that too. Yeah.
That was my first job in television, man. They say go to the local, I think it was a Kmart at the time.
Yeah.
And they're going to be stocking these things. And man, I got to the Kmart, and it looked like they were preparing for an invasion. I tell
They
you
were.
not.
They were.
I kid you not, man. And when they opened that door, I have never seen people act so crazy.
Grown ladies.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I saw
Grandmothers.
There were fights, literally
yeah.
fights,
They were.
pushing over this stuff.
Yeah.
It was mine. It's mine. No, it's not.
Yeah.
And and I got some sort of weird enjoyment out of it. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have said
No, you
that.
can
but-
enjoy it. No, that's fine.
You
I
totally.
got some sort of weird kind
Well,
of
it's funny.
thrill out of watching this. I was like, this is crazy, but I'm kind
Yeah.
of enjoying this, man. So I'm like shooting all
You
this.
better be enjoying it because you're there.
Yeah.
Well, the viewers, they see this stuff and they're also laughing at it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Because it's not, I didn't know. So I know like people go crazy over this stuff. I've never actually had to see it in person. I've avoided these things. I call out sick or whatever on the holidays so that way for some of those. But no, I'm just kidding. But man, I think it's so funny that the Cabbage Patch Kids, Tickle Me Elmo has scarred you.
It has.
Sorry you guys had to deal with that.
It has. We won't even get into Y2K. Maybe in our
my
next
goodness,
segment.
man,
Maybe our
that's-
next
oh, boy,
segment.
Oh my
that's-
God. Well, hold on. So wait, so we had to cover a bunch of fluff, right? So there's essays that we had to do, which I didn't know. I thought an essay was something written, right? But it's different for us.
Right.
They're like 2-3 minute fluff pieces, right? You go
Sure.
to a light show. We were all assigned to that. I remember that in Texas too.
Yes, the crazy neighborhoods who get so decorated, and you take the TV camera through there, and it's pretty easy pickings. Honestly, they
Yeah,
did all
it
the
is.
work.
It's super easy. I mean, I'll get Nat some interviews real quick. Maybe I make a Nat pack out of it.
Yeah.
And talk to people, and it's so easy. Everybody wants to talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, the lights are great over here. This one,
Sure.
goes to the music. Those fluff pieces are, but those are like the staples, right? I feel like
Those are because those are the kind of it's easy television. You've got a smaller staff than maybe you normally would, and there's 16 events that are telegenic and involve children, and emulate the theme at hand, which is the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
because you know there's going to be that spot news, terrible, tragic stuff. Anyway, you don't control that.
Yeah, no.
But let's go to break, and when we come back, let's talk about covering some of the bad stuff during the happiest time of year.
Absolutely.
All right.
We'll be right back. And welcome back to Behind the Lens, an inside look at what it's like to gather TV news. On this episode, we're talking about working the holidays, something any news crew can relate to. And here to tell us all about it are two seasoned news crew members themselves, Kevin Pinto, Terrence Allen. How you doing, fellas?
Doing great, man.
Yeah,
Great.
doing
Glad
well.
to be here.
Yeah, and definitely not as seasoned as you guys, but you guys showed the seasoning more than.
You're
get there.
getting there.
I mean, I'm 10 years in, right?
You're
That's
getting
pretty
there.
good. I look
Seasoning
great.
in that beer. A little
That's
seasoning.
because I'm married.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different subject,
whole
right?
different-
You guys have met Jenna. She's been on the show.
You're going to get us shut down. We're not going there this episode.
We love our wives. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
That's another episode that I would like to do.
Loving our wives.
That's a whole other show. But we're going to get things back on the track here.
All right.
And talk about the fact that we're talking about working the holidays, something we're very familiar with. If you don't work in TV news, but you've ever watched the news on the holidays, hey, someone's there putting that news on. And it's been my honor and duty to do that many times. And I know that it has yours. What's your least favorite thing about working the holidays other than it being on the holidays?
I think the tragedies that you have to cover.
Yeah.
Inevitably, there's always tragedy.
Yes.
That's just life. Unfortunate side of life, and just the one that comes to mind is when a young police officer was killed up on the interstate near Concord.
Sure.
3 years ago, I believe,
Mhm.
and it was several days before Christmas. And man, that is one of the very few times I was with an old reporter we had by the name of Brett Baldick. And he looked at me, and that was one of the very few times. I mean, I'm like an old guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually brought tears to my eyes because I was thinking about her children,
Right.
and her husband, her family. I mean, any time of year when something like that happens is bad, but my goodness, man, right in the holiday season, it was just terrible. And that really struck me. And I took that all the way through the season. I mean,
Sure.
I thought about that daily. I still think about it, and it still bugs me.
It's odd to me. Well, if you're part of a news crew, you're working with a thin staff on a day where there's still a lot going on, and if something does happen, you're the person going. So the chances of you seeing something tragic on what's supposed to be the happiest time of year are good. I mean, if you haven't experienced something like that, you haven't been in TV news long enough, because it's almost cliche, the tragic head-on collision on New Year's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but who hadn't covered something like
No, and it hits you different, even as
Yeah.
you're covering it, right?
that?
Because we're all in that mood. We're on that happy holiday mood.
Mhm.
We're excited to do stuff with our family and everything, and then you go to this tragedy, and it definitely hits you different. You start thinking of their families. I mean, you think of it on any tragedy, but again, it just hits a little different. We've talked about there was the helicopter accident that happened with even our fellow news station here, and that was before Thanksgiving. And that's all I could think about that day was just like, his family and how they must feel, and it definitely just hits a little different. And these tragedies still do happen during the holidays, and we have to remember that as well. It's not all the fluff stories and
Right.
and covering the lights and all that stuff. While that makes us happy and makes everybody else feel happy, there's still bad things that are happening, and it still hurts.
It really puts life into perspective for you. It makes you, when you go home after something like that, you hug your wife a little harder,
Mhm.
tighter.
Mhm.
You hug your kids a little tighter. In my case now, my kids are like grown and out of the house, but I'll call them,
You still think about
and I still think about them. And, like, hey, you guys okay? Then when I get to see them, I hug them tight, and they're like, Pops, what's up, man? What's going on?
Yeah.
And so it's really tough. You know, you talk about the helicopter situation.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the saddest days I've ever been involved in. You were
Yeah.
there, I remember.
Yeah. And that hit us as a news family.
At a news
because we're all,
family.
you know, we might be all rival stations, but
Right.
we're all still a family. It's a very small community working in news.
Absolutely. And,
Mhm.
you know, there is competition, but man, we all do love each other. We're all a family. We all do this thing together. And, you know, I knew a lot of people over there and used to work over there years ago. And so that one really hit really hard. So it's a great time of the year, but it's also a very emotional time of the year, especially for, you know, first responders, especially for people who cover first responders like we do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Stuart, have you covered a bunch of these, you know, tragedies? Obviously, you've been around a while. So, I mean, what are your thoughts?
Just that those kind of tragedies are almost guaranteed to happen. Like I said before, we're usually covering a region. If there's some sort of bad, tragic thing, we're going to make a beeline for it. And I've had some stories and some things happen where they have just burned into my brain because it's a crisp, you know, Christmas morning and you're standing by the side of the road, not really sure what's happening, but there's a flashing police car and a sheet over something in a ditch. And that sounds crass, but that may be all you know while you're standing there, while everyone else is carving into the Christmas turkey. That's a feeling you get used to. And like any other profession that you stick with for very long, it begins to feel normal. So standing on the side of the road at some tragic event while the rest of the family is having a nice slice of pie, that's been my existence.
Well, and then
yeah,
it's true. I mean, and then I've covered a lot more suicides, I feel like, during the holidays too. Which is, and you're not supposed to, that we don't normally want to.
We'll check them.
But we check them out, and unfortunately, we still get sent to it. We have to go, and I don't know. I had one director once tell me, "Oh, what if it's a famous person?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess we should." Yeah, but I don't want to.
What if it's your aunt?
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't like covering it, but we hear it a lot more.
Right.
So yeah, it's a little bit more for sure depressing. I guess just to steer away from the sadness a little bit. We also cover it in weather. I don't know. I mean, I worked in the Northeast, right? I worked in Texas had weather too. We still had snow. Then I went to Florida and there was none of that. But I mean, driving in the snow during all of this stuff is kind of rough too. Covering during the holidays, right? Do you not encounter the extra weather? It's not hurricanes.
Well, you know, working pretty much my whole career in the Southeast, so I haven't had much.
We got to
deal
the
with
mountains
that,
for sure.
you know. But I have had a couple of instances where I was working holidays, and we've had to deal with some snow like that kind of one-off blizzard that might show up. And,
Well, now you're sending people.
right, exactly.
I know your title says photojournalist on the bottom there, but you're now the dark side,
right.
as far as the news desk sending people to do stuff, right? So now you send us to the mountains.
Well, you know, that was one thing I was going to actually step back and talk a little bit about that. You know, when we were talking about, you know, I want to bring it down, but we were talking about the suicides. I do hear a lot of that on the scanners.
Yeah, because you're sitting there listening.
I'm listening to that, and I hear so much death, and it not amplifies, but it kind of ramps up, like to your point, during the holidays. I'm hearing that a lot more. And that's really, really, really sad because a lot of people are in trouble. And I'll take this opportunity to say, if you're in trouble, reach out and get help. There's all kinds of help out there. But but that's one thing. But back to the assignment editor part about sending people to the mountains. That's something I think about a lot, especially during the holidays, is I don't want to do. And matter of fact, I had to send your wife up to, it was way out there. I don't even know where it was, way off the radar somewhere.
Oh, send it wherever you want.
And I, you know, I was kind of like, man, I hate to do that, man, but you know, you got to cover the job. You got to do the job.
Yeah.
And I think everybody in this business and everyone, especially in this newsroom, they know that, you know, you got to get it done.
Yeah.
And no matter where it is, you got to cover the news. So,
well, the one thing that you can say is that, look, I've been there a gajillion times. So the fact that you're a career photographer working the assignment desk, you got the credibility, man. You can't. There's nothing you can send someone to that you haven't been to.
That's true. That's true.
And he still sends himself out.
Yeah, he
and I
does.
still
He
go.
still
I
says it. He
still
can't
go.
help it.
Yeah.
He can't. The photog is still in him, and he needs to go out and go film stuff. He cannot help it.
Well,
That-
this isn't the Terry Allen Hour. That's scheduled for February.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I can't wait for that episode.
Right.
Man, we got to have an episode where we just talk junk about the news desk, right?
Ooh, that can't go
Because
wrong.
that's a whole. Man, they're the enemy. They're the
No,
enemy.
Our friends.
No,
Our
whatever.
friends.
They make us to do work.
They're our friends.
Make you do your job.
Yeah, exactly. How dare you, Terry? Oh my gosh.
Anyway, yeah.
All right, Kevin Pinto proving why he's management material. We're gonna be right back. Welcome back to Behind the Lens, an inside look at what it's like to gather TV news. We've been talking about what it's like to gather TV news during the holidays, and it doesn't matter what holiday it is. We'll find a reason to make you work that day because that's just how news is. A newscast is scheduled. We need somebody to work it. Sorry, it's got to be you. But here, have some cold pizza. It's in the break room. Am I wrong, Kevin? Am I wrong?
Well, you're the guy who
Right.
does that. You're the chief. So you're the one who's like, hey, can you work that holiday? Oh, great. And then you make the joke where, oh, we can't pay you.
I do make that joke.
God, I'll make that joke. Calling you out. All right.
I'm going to retire that joke. I'm not going to make it.
No. You keep it. You be you, man.
You be you.
Oh, I'm busted. Well, okay, get us back on board. So we're talking about the fact that someone's got to work, and we've all stood there in the soup kitchen. We've stood there at one of my least favorite places to go, and that's the airport. Terry, you have been to the airport more than most pilots I know.
Oh my goodness, man. I live at the airport, especially during the holiday season. And the Charlotte Douglas Airport used to be one of the worst to get around in.
Sure.
But it's gotten better now since all the improvements. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, but that's one of the stories we always do is the travel stories. You got to get to the airport to get the crowded lines.
Yeah.
You know, people.
It's not a hard story to shoot.
No, it's very easy. Target rich environment, as we like to say.
Yeah.
You go out
They're
there.
trapped.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so, and people are always willing to talk, you know, so it's an easy story. And you're usually working with a really cool reporter,
Yeah.
you know, May-Kay Beeler. She's really cool to work with at the
Yeah.
airport. Savannah, I usually work with her at the airport a lot. So it's fun. I mean, it's become actually kind of enjoyable, but that's one of the places that we're at all the time during the holidays.
Yeah, if you're working that morning shift, you already know.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, so we're gonna need you at the airport and ask them where they're traveling to. There's the same well,
Yeah.
it's the same formula. Some people have gotten creative with it, but it's yeah. I mean, it's a staple.
Well,
And then you're also doing live shots for like every station in the network, our Next Star network, and then we're doing live shots for, you know, the network affiliates.
Yeah.
So you're constantly busy, but the time goes fast.
what do we call that? Using a name we can use on air, round robin or the washing machine.
Yeah,
or
you could that's
sitting there doing the same live
Mhm.
shot over and over,
Absolutely.
over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is exactly what we all got in this business for, I think. Right,
Mhm.
right.
Absolutely.
Side of the road,
Mhm.
be it the overpass.
Oh yes, the overpass. I've done that with Savannah a couple times.
Yeah.
They're salting the roads.
Oh, we haven't even talked about the salt.
Oh, these
Salting the roads.
Yeah.
But this is North Carolina too. Like they do that for if they know a centimeter of snow might come.
Easy, easy. You're surrounded.
kids
now.
from the north.
It's,
There's some
well,
boys.
they canceled school recently, didn't they? For snow.
Someone mentioned snow on air and they canceled.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's all you got to do. I think so. Yeah, someone paid us to do that. No, I'm just kidding. But in the Northeast, I remember like it could snow like 2 feet and they would not get to school.
It's a different world.
Yeah, or they open it like maybe an hour later, and that was about it. But yeah.
We should do an episode on how TV news is different in different regions. I mean, God knows it's the same in so many areas, but in different regions, the TV is different. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's an interesting
It's
idea.
a whole other episode.
This is a live streaming episode thing, so we can talk about that. Terry, go.
Well, I was going to say one thing is constant throughout any region, any place in the entire world. You will be at the airport doing live shots during the holiday season.
Yeah.
So that's a staple everywhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what region you are now.
If you have an airport near your TV station,
Yeah.
you're going to be there.
Absolutely, man. Or on some overpass.
And someone's not going to want you to be there. That's a whole nother show.
Right.
It's another episode.
That's right. It is.
Well, people not wanting you to be there, man. That could be a 4-hour show. Speaking of time, though, we got to be running out of it.
We are out of time.
Oh, out of time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We will be back with another episode of Behind the Lens, quite possibly about something we just discovered right now. So come back and see what we've come up with. No one will be more surprised than us. So thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.